In the relatively early years of the Super Nintendo, games company Activision was in the process of working on sequels to some of their classic Atari titles. These games were to flesh out the full potential of the concepts established in the 2600 versions by adding improved gameplay, updated graphics, and just generally a deeper experience. They had a projected release date of sometime in 1993 and included titles like River Raid 3, Kaboom! The Mad Bomber's Return, and Pitfall Harry the Mayan Adventure. Only one of these games was ever released, though, with a slightly different title of Pitfall the Mayan Adventure. Let's take a look.
Mike the Gamer Guy.
While there have been countless adventure games, most of them fall into the point-and-click genre. For whatever reason, there doesn't seem to be many action platform-style games featuring scenarios cut from the mold of Indiana Jones. But the ones there are usually pretty good, and Pitfall the Mayan Adventure is no different. In fact, it may just be the best. Visually, the game is very nice, featuring some fluid and at times comical animations, and that's comical in a good way. It's not exactly Prince of Persia, but maybe a few notches beneath that. In addition, the sprites are nicely drawn, and the backgrounds are appropriately atmospheric for this Indiana Jones-esque adventure through waterfall, jungle, and temple environments. I especially love the night jungle area. The ambience here is cranked up to 11. The music is also very atmospheric, but not too memorable except for perhaps the title theme, which has a real nice drive to it. In fact, the ambient noise of many of the levels outshines the actual music. The chatter of monkeys or the roaring of distant water sells the Mayan land as a real place that's lived in, with secrets and treasures to uncover. Speaking of which, like the original Pitfall and Pitfall 2 The Lost Cavern, there are treasures and secrets to be found everywhere. Valuables such as diamond rings, gold bars, and coins are to be collected to net you continues, which always come in handy. There are also a plethora of hidden areas where you can earn the aforementioned valuables, or in a really cool addition, you can play a port of the classic Pitfall. And if you're me, totally fail at it. Playing the port is actually great because it shows the contrast between the new and the old, and how much has really changed while also celebrating the past. A masterfully executed callback. This callback, however, doesn't outshine the rest of the game. The Pitfall gameplay, which was revolutionary in 1982, is still here, but this game is more than just a fresh coat of paint and improved visuals. Pitfall the Mayan Adventure takes classic set pieces and injects them with some new life. The ubiquitous vines are of course here, but with added exhilaration as you jump from one to another, whip across ones hanging from rocks, and slide down them at high speeds. Yes, I think exhilarating is perhaps the best word to describe this game as a whole. Giant spiderwebs, giant wheels of death, swinging fireballs, and more all come together to really add a lot of excitement to this game. The 90s have allowed this Pitfall game to take on some of the conventions of that era's platformer. Apart from simple mechanical upgrades like more fluid jumping, you now have some projectile weaponry that includes a rock sling with regular and powerful explosive ammo, boomerangs, and a short-range melee whip weapon, all of which will be necessary to take on the varied enemies and challenges which populate this game. All sorts of jungle life and traps want you dead, including the scorpions from the original Atari game. Much of it feels like playing the iconic opening sequence of Raiders of the Lost Ark, perhaps even more so than the actual 16-bit Indiana Jones platformer. The platforming itself is also really solid, nothing too difficult aside from perhaps one or two moments just to keep you on your toes, but it is creative, featuring some puzzle-like segments, and most importantly, it's fun. One of my favorite parts in this regard is bouncing off the temple wall heads, which is a very energetic experience. The game is pretty difficult, especially the boss fights, but it never gets so hard that I wanted to throw my controller or anything. It's a good difficult, which keeps you coming back to this atmospheric action platformer. Pitfall the Mayan Adventure is available on most every console of the time, including the Genesis, 32X, Sega CD, Atari Jaguar, PC, and the version I'm playing here for the Super Nintendo, which I personally recommend because it's the one I've played the most. There was also apparently a Game Boy Advance port around 2001, so you can take this amazing game on the go. All in all, if you have any of the platforms I listed and enjoy solid action platforming with great ambience and atmosphere, then I believe you owe it to yourself to pick up Pitfall the Mayan Adventure. Thanks for watching.